I'm gonna click
Uh,
record on this thing too. Go ahead.
yeah, I it kind of depends. I typically I do overnight oats, which is like that's just like my meal replacement type stuff, and kachava. So it's not a base. It's not like just pure protein. It's more like meal replacement stuff, to be honest.
Right. Okay.
So I don't have anything that's like just pure protein other than my bone broth. But that was kind of like what I tried to go to a long time ago. Is I'll drink like overnight oats or kachava like every 3 to 4 hours during the day, and then I have one meal at night that I eat. That's like usually we do salmon or something that's like high protein or chicken or something like that. That's
Yeah, I remember us
healthy.
talking about that. I've got I only asked because I use a protein powder that's a zero carb protein powder and it's just protein and it's like 200 grams for that. So bone
Okay.
broth is great. I drink bone broth too.
Yeah.
And it's another way to do it, but this is like it doesn't feel like heavy, like if you have
Yeah.
like whey protein, it like really I think it like sits
Yeah.
more like a rock. This is more like it's like a lighter feel. So if you're interested, I can send you a link for it. But
Yeah. I mean, it's
it
interesting for sure. Whey, I'll smoke out a whole room, dude. My stomach doesn't like whey. So,
yeah, mine doesn't either.
but
That's why I shaved it too.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah. For sure.
Cool. Sky, what's up? Skyla.
Hey,
Yoo-hoo.
what's up? Sorry, I don't know how to use Zoom still, but hey, what's up?
How are you?
I'm great. Just hanging up Halloween decorations.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The house is getting ready. I'm ready to
Oh
tear that
yeah.
place up next week, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be spooky.
Did I tell you that I have to stand CDO the day after your soiree?
I that sucks for future you.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, it does.
But CDO is just like cashing it in, though, right, dude?
I know.
Like you just
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
keep the eyes open.
That's
Like as long as
right.
you drink
That's right.
Yeah,
caffeine,
on
you
a
can be as
Saturday
hungover as you
And
need.
too.
it's on a Saturday where there's probably gonna be no
Yeah.
flights, so it'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
It'll
it'll be
be
all
all
right.
right. All right, I'm gonna give people like one more minute, and then I'm gonna hit go on this bad boy. I'm gonna grab a water. I'll be right back.
Cool. Sounds good.
I went and spent $600 today at Costco and almost had an aneurysm when I did it too. So it was fun.
Dude, what on? You don't even have like
Everything,
how
dude. I bought
you only got a two-person family, bro. What are you
I
buying at
bought it
Costco?
all. Yes, I bought all the things. Okay, let me
Dog food?
see. No. I guess I
I
probably
black
should
out
have
every time I
though.
go there.
Dude, it's abysmal. It's tough. It's really tough. Okay. So we're gonna get this thing going. Kind of checks in with at least the three of you that are here. But Ming, this was your topic, man. So we're gonna chat through. Ming wanted to know about a little bit about macronutrients and how it kind of works with your body type. And for him, he's trying to gain some weight. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about all that stuff in there as well. But what I do want to chat about really fast is I want to chat about values of the program first. So we're gonna get into that a little bit before we start. So why do values matter? I guess I was asked this question a couple weeks ago about what I value kind of as a coach and as a person, and I didn't really have a good answer. I figured out that if I didn't have a good answer to that question, that it was going to be really hard for me to guide and coach everybody else in the program because I need them to be somewhat aligned with the values that I have as a coach. So if I were to ask you guys, and I'm not going to put you on the spot right now, but if I were to ask you about what your values are, would you have a good answer? Would you know off the cuff, like, hey, this is something that I value family or I value this? So what I did is I kind of took a long look in the mirror these last couple of weeks and I kind of formulated a list of values that I think are going to be foundational to the Blue Chip Athletic Club program, as well as my coaching style. And I'm going to go over those with you guys real quick. So my personal that I'll actually overflow into the business as well values are going to be putting yourself out there is going to be the first one. The whole reason that I got involved in coaching is because I walked into a gym and ask them for a job. And I had zero credential. I had zero business being a trainer. I was just somebody that enjoyed fitness and I enjoyed coaching lacrosse at the time. And look what it's grown into, in a couple years, it's gone into this space where now I'm helping all of you guys achieve all of your own personal goals. And there's nothing that I could say more so than like putting yourself out there into a situation. You never know what could happen. You never know the benefit that you could have. So don't be afraid to exercise that 5 seconds of courage to really put yourself into a good place, 2-3 years down the line. I say, I think everybody in the live call right here is married. But if you weren't, you never know when you could end up meeting your husband or wife or significant other by kind of putting yourself into a situation that you normally wouldn't. So don't be afraid to do that. The next one's going to be leaning into discomfort. I talk about this a lot with looking at being 5 to 10% uncomfortable in the workouts that we do and the programs that we run. It's really important because if you're not uncomfortable, you're not going to change. And that leads into the next point. If you don't change, you don't grow. That doesn't mean that you're, constantly, frustrated if your body's not making all these developments, but it is something that you need to understand. Like if your mindset's not shifting, if your, emotions aren't shifting towards, how you feel when you work out or the way that you go to sleep, the way that you look at yourself in the mirror, we need to attack the root cause, the root problem, and then try and help bring you into this space that's, of positivity, of ways that you can, affirm that you're doing the right thing, the way that you make progress, because all those things, the devil on your shoulder shouldn't be louder than the angel on the other side. It's kind of where that's going. Next one's going to be comparison is the thief of joy. I think social media has really fucked us in this space, and that everyone's comparing themselves and their own journey to somebody else who has either been doing it for a while or they've got it figured out and they've got millions of dollars or they've got the car or they've got this or that. Like what I want you guys to all realize, and us as a program and even me sometimes, is that the second we start comparing to anybody else or anybody else's journey, we're kind of dooming ourselves. We got to meet ourselves where we're at, and then we're going to make progress on our own terms, and we're going to do it together. And I'm going to be there every step of the way with you all. Next one's going to be live and die by your word. I'm somebody that I hope that all of you feel this way. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I follow through and I'm going to make it happen. I don't make empty promises. I don't make empty statements. And it's something that I really feel charged about, because there's a lot of people that will promise the world and they don't deliver. If I'm going to promise you the world, I'm going to deliver. I don't know how the world's going to look, but I'm going to do my best to make sure that I give you guys 110%. So if I'm ever not delivering, this is kind of going into the next, or I guess it's 2 points away, but accountability being pivotal and bidirectional. If I'm not delivering for you, you guys need to hold me accountable, just like I'm going to hold you accountable if you're not delivering for yourself and in the program. So make sure that you're holding me to the standard. If you feel like I'm not holding that up, call me out. Let me know. I'm here to help you guys be better, and you guys are inevitably, you all help me be better too. Next one I want to talk about is if you aren't having fun, do something else. In general in life, like you should be enjoying what you're doing. And if you're not enjoying this program, if you're not enjoying the success that it's bringing you, do something else. Like I'm never going to be somebody who doesn't encourage you to pursue things that you enjoy. And, in the same regard, like I'm going to put Sky on the spot and she's in the call. So sorry, Sky, you don't have to comment or anything unless you want to. But Sky told me that at one point when we were like programming her stuff, she's like, hey, dude, like I don't love like doing like X style of workout. And I was like, okay, so what do you like? And she's like, oh, I like bodybuilding splits. And I was like, okay, this is great. Like, I'm glad that you told me this. I'm glad that I now know this. So now I can program in a more bodybuilding style of splits for you to make you have more fun. And in turn, you're more persistent, you're more consistent, and you see more progress down the line. So that two-way communication street is incredibly important. So I know what you like, you know what you like, and then we're able to really make a plan that works best for you. And this is in the training component of the program and nutrition, pretty much everywhere across the board. Last one I like too is consistency is king and mobility is her queen. Consistently show up for yourself, consistently show up in the gym, consistently show up in your diet, and then make sure you guys are doing the mobility stuff too. I think that it's really important for you to continue to have success and then also see your body make the changes that you want it to make. So here's the next thing of why should you care? Why do you care about the values? Why do you care about the program? And I hit on this a little bit before. It's the type of coach that I am. I want your guys' success arguably more than I want my own, and maybe even more than you want your success. And in this relationship, we can't improve unless we have feedback. So this little picture here is how I track everybody's weekly check-ins. This little, array. So I blocked out everybody's names on the side over here, but all of these names correspond to weekly check-ins. Now, green is good. Green means you turned your shit in and I reviewed it and talked to you about it. Red is bad. Red means that you did not submit the weekly check-in form, or we were late, or whatever is going on. And most of the time, I don't blur it out red until like Wednesday or Thursday of the week. So I just want to bring this up because accountability is bidirectional, and I'm going to hold you guys just like you should hold me. If we don't do weekly check-in forms, if we aren't communicating why we're not doing them, or if these things are happening, we're missing out on growth, and we're missing out on an opportunity to get better. It's an opportunity for me to get better with you. It's an opportunity for you to to hold me to the line, because you guys are paying for a service that I really want to deliver on for you and deliver you the results that you deserve and that you need. And if we're not doing this little small thing, if we can't take the 5 minutes to do this form, it's really tough. So look at how much red is on this form. I'd like that to change moving forward, and I'll get off my soapbox. So we're going to talk today a little bit more about understanding the role of calories, macros, in a weight gain or weight loss journey, and why you should care. So this is me when I had just started college, right here. What I'll say is I had no idea what my body type was. I had no idea what calories were or macronutrient understanding. And I was working out an hour and a half or 2 hours a day. And this was me then. Flipped the script, and then I got into flight training and I started lifting, like heavy powerlifting. And this is me a couple years ago, who again had no idea what my body type was. I had no clue what a calorie was. I had no idea what macronutrients were. So I went on the full swing where I was 150 pounds soaking wet as an 18, 19-year-old kid, to 230 pounds and just an ox, but really moving like shit. I didn't feel good. I didn't look good. I wasn't very happy in the body that I had. So my goal in this is to get you guys, and the way that I've gotten myself to now where I'm at, where I feel like I know my body, I know my caloric intake, I know macronutrient needs, and you know what? I work out half the time that I used to. So what that means is that we're able to really dial in and make sure that we're achieving a goal that's tangible for us, and that's going to be different from person to person. We're going to chat about that a little bit here. So calories, what are they? Sorry, I had to put this in here for my science nerds, but I'm just going to read it off real quick. Calories are a unit of heat to raise the temperature of 1 milliliter of water by 1 degree Celsius at sea level. Boring. Yawn. Yeah, me too. I'm sorry. But more importantly, and what I really want you to get out of this, is they're the building blocks for creating energy in the human body. So without calories, we're not able to convert food to energy, which is what we're going to kind of get into. So how does food and or calories provide energy, right? So when we're creating this structure here for our food, we take in raw ingredients. We then process the food through our digestive system. And then in these intestinal sections, and as well as in our stomach, is where we kind of break down those nutrients to then take them out and convert them to calories. So how does food provide energy? Well, this is kind of like the really, really simplified and dumbed down equation. And just so you know, I actually looked up like dumbed down, creation of ATP, so that I could make something that I could talk about intelligently. So just so you guys know, this is Blaze proof. So I'm hoping that it's Blue Chip Athletic Club proof as well. So there's 3 kind of building blocks. Well, I guess you could say, a couple more, but as far as food's concerned, there's 3 building blocks. There's proteins, there's glucose, and there's fat. So based on this, what they do is they come into the cells, they combine with oxygen, you expel water as well as carbon dioxide, and ATP or energy is created. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this moving forward. So energy balance. Ming, I know that we talked about this before, but in your journey, this is going to be something that's super key for you. So an energy balance is essentially your calories in versus calorie out. Your energy intake, aka how much food you eat, versus your energy expenditure, aka how much food that you expend in these 4 categories. And I'll combine all those into a total daily energy expenditure that we'll chat about in a little bit. But it comes down to your resting metabolic rate, thermal effective eating, or diet induced thermogenesis, which is basically just like how much you burn when you are digesting food. Physical activities, so that's something that we can change as well. And then non-exercise thermogenics, which is neat. Again, not super important that you know what those are. More important that you understand that calories in and calories out are what create your energy balance and then drive your body to make changes, whether that's putting on weight or taking it off. So I'm saying it's a numbers game. It's not quite that simple. I think that there's 3 really big things that you need to understand moving forward so that you can have an effective energy balance and you can make sure that you're training your body in the right way. That's going to be understanding of what your body type is. And I'm going to get into these in the next slide here too, what an endomorph, an ectomorph, and a mesomorph is. So we'll kind of put a pin in that. Understanding your genetics is really important. If anybody tells you genetics aren't real, they're a liar. So definitely understanding your genetics is very, very important moving forward. And then the efficiency of your cells to convert calories to energy, aka your metabolism, is another thing that's really important to understand. We'll dive into each of these. So body types. Does anybody know that guy? And Ming, this is probably you actually. Know that guy that like no matter how much they eat and work out, they are this like super skinny like type of person. Well, I'm sure like people like me envy you because I'm more of this type of person. So these little body type pictures, we'll call it, this is what you default to if you do no training. So for me personally, I'm an endomorph by trade. So if I decide that I'm going to stop training completely, I'm going to put on size much easier than I will take it off. Ming, for example, if this is about you, I think that you likely fall into this ectomorph category a little bit more, meaning if you stop training completely, you'd probably be, super skinny and you would have a really hard time putting weight on. And then there's some people that are just genetically gifted, and these are the mesomorphs. Essentially, these are like the freak athletes. This is why like people can wake up with 6-packs and never touch a weight or whatever they want. These are kind of like we'll call the great white buffalo or the unicorn of the athletic training world. Typically, somebody falls into either the endo or the ectomorph category, though. So genetics, that's the second one I need you to understand. And genetics are real. If I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger's son, I've got a much higher threshold for weightlifting than if I'm Michael Phelps' son. One guy is a Olympic swimmer, beans pull thin. He's going to have a way tougher time putting on mass. Arnold Schwarzenegger's son probably has TRT, testosterone, steroids running through his veins when he comes out of the womb, right? That's just the way it is. So genetics are going to end up being a limiting factor after a certain point, but there is a way that you can change them, and it's a really slow change, but it's something that you can do and affect for your genetics, for even your future kids, especially for those that are creating one. Yeet, shout out Sky. That's what's up, girl. So genetics here, according to Precision Nutrition, people share over 99.9% of the same genes, aka you and me. Everybody else in this community are sharing a ton of the same genes. A bunch of genes are preserved evolutionarily, essentially meaning that like as people die out, if they don't have the genes, they're not going to continue. Therefore, they're not going to reproduce and not going to be around anymore. So there are going to be genetic differences in how people react to certain foods. So, Bobby, you were saying earlier that if you had whey protein, you would stink up the room and everybody's running away. Like me too, dude. But there's some people that can have whey protein and it never affects their farts and it doesn't make them smell bad at all. But that's just not me. Very unfortunate for you and I, but we didn't get that gene that that I wish that we had. So understanding your body and communicating the way that your body reacts to certain foods and diet plans is really important to me. So that we're able to put you on a plan that makes sense for your specific needs. So here's another sweet little photo. Actually, this came out a lot better than I thought. On energy efficiency. Okay. So this is where we talk about the creation of and more effective metabolism. So here you'll see this is essentially the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Don't worry, everybody knows that. But changing your mitochondria is a way that you can change your genetics. And what I mean by that is if you're fueling your mitochondria with these things that are healthy foods, good environment, and exercise, it creates more ATP, more energy in a more effective way. If you're fueling your body with stress, unhealthy food, and toxins, it's going to create something called ROS, which is reactive oxygen species, which essentially is a way of saying wasted energy. It'd be like me putting out diesel fuel and then having half the tank go in the trash can and then half the tank burn off in the gas tank, versus somebody who's driving like that souped up Toyota Prius that gets like 80 miles to the gallon versus homie in the lifted truck that's, you know, struggling to pay gas in California, which I know from my Californians over there, it is a struggle bus right now. Actually, it came down a little bit, but still over $5 hurting. So I would rather be in the metaphorical Prius that's more effective at converting our food to energy versus something that's creating waste. So macronutrients and how they affect all of this. So for you to understand the way to create effective energy, you need to understand what macronutrients do and why they're important. So we have 3 major macronutrients. There's going to be proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Technically, and this is by that equation that I showed you before, and I'm going to show it to you again in a second, your body only needs proteins and fats to function properly, but carbohydrates also have their place. So we're going to talk about those in a bit. So proteins, notice how I've got this graphic up here again. Proteins are up here in green. They're critical to ensure that our cells can do their jobs of protein synthesis and transport proteins throughout the body. So when you work out, imagine that you're, lifting heavy weights and it breaks down your muscles, starts to affect tears to them. If you're not getting adequate amount of protein, you're not going to be able to rebuild that muscle structure, which then when you rip and tear and break it down, it rebuilds bigger, meaning that you have larger muscles, meaning that you're progressing more towards your goal of putting on size. So if you have a protein deficiency, that can actually lead to hormonal imbalances, depressed immune function, or poor recovery from exercise or injury. So at the end of the day, if you're starting to move more and you're getting more into an active state, you likely need more protein so that you're able to function at a high level. Fats are next. So fats are going to be the yellow, I guess it's not yellow, maybe orange at the bottom of our equation here to making energy in the cell. Fats are going to be storing energy. They insulate the body and they regulate hormones, and they're really vital for transporting critical vitamins around the body too. So let's say you have an insufficient amount of fats. You could have hormonal imbalances as well, vitamin deficiencies, and weakened immune systems, which will put you out of the game on your health and wellness journey. So again, fats and proteins are the only 2 critical components of this equation here that you need, which is why some people bite off on the keto diet. And we're not going to go down that rabbit hole right now, but I do not support said diet. So I'll just put that out there for you all in the universe. Carbohydrates are last. So although they're not directly related in this equation, they are the stop sign red here because all carbohydrates are converted to glucose that are then put into the energy equation to create energy in our cells. So glucose is going to be used as the body's quick energy source go-to. So if anybody's ever seen like some big bodybuilder go and slam a Rice Krispie treat before a workout, they're doing that because it's a simple carbohydrate. Their body converts to glucose and they burn through that right away so that they're able to continue their workout and have a little bit more energy during their pump. So again, carbohydrates not necessary, but they are great for you to provide some quick glucose energy in the form of simple carbohydrates before a workout. And then more complex carbs would be like your pastas and things that take a little bit longer to break down. So here's how we do it. Here's how we understand. So in terms of gain and weight loss, it's played with the calories in versus calories out. We talked about that before. The ultimate version of energy balance. But macros and what you're eating is equally as important. So I've talked about this before, but if you have 2,000 calories of gummy bears, it's not the same as if you have 2,000 calories of protein and produce, of chicken and rice, of, fill in the blank of whatever whole foods you want. The people that eat those are going to have two different body types, although they're going to be taking in the same amount of energy. Their mitochondria are going to have different effectiveness on the inside, which is going to mean you will have less energy if you're eating 2,000 calories of gummy bears versus the protein and produce. So for most of you that are in the program, we should have done this already. And if we haven't, definitely reach out to me and we'll go through it together. But we need to go on this website, which is called your total daily energy expenditure, to calculate the amount of calories that you burn in a day. So it's going to take into account your age. It's going to take into account your height and your weight. And it's basically going to give us a ballpark range of what you burn sitting, or excuse me, not sitting. It's going to take into account what you burn in an average day, whether you're working out 3 to 5 times or, 6 times, 7 times, whatever. It's going to take all that into consideration and spit out a value that's going to be a great starting point for us to take on your fitness journey with you. After that, what we're going to do is prescribe approximately 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if you're like me and you weigh around 200 pounds, you should be getting approximately 200 grams of protein a day. That way you're able to meet that protein need and your body is not starving for proteins moving forward in this accelerated, fitness program, to where you're starting to see real change. You need to make sure that your body is able to transport those proteins around, rebuild muscle mass, as well as do all of its other daily functions. Basically, wrapping this up here, understanding your macronutrients and your body type is huge for creating a program that works for you. So let's work to develop your program for you and your goals. I just want to make sure that everybody's kind of understanding the fact that this is going to be super individualized based on who you are, your body type, your genetics, and then how effective your mitochondria are. And if anybody in this group here has any questions, now is your time to fire them off. Hit me. If I don't know the answer, I will say that and I will look it up for you. That is my promise to you. Bueller, does anybody have questions? Ming, this is your topic, dude. I'm going to call you out. What's up? You look like you're pondering life's greater questions.
I just don't know where to start to actually start tracking the intake and
perfect. Let's do yours. Let's do yours together. This will be great.
Okay.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to reshare my screen. I think it just closed out, and we'll do yours live. Okay. So here we are. I hope you can see this. We're going to go on the total daily energy expenditure calculator, and we'll do this for you. So you're a male. You are age what?
34.
You're 34 years old, and you weigh what?
It's like 132 right now.
132. And you're how tall?
Yeah, 5'9". Yeah, that's
5'9".
my height.
Beauty.
Default.
What I'll say is we're working out at we'll say 3 to 5 times a week, but maybe we'll just throw in light exercise for now, just because we don't need to know your body fat percentage. And boom. So here's the sheet that I was talking about, right? So in this case, it's showing that if you wanted to, this is a maintenance calorie. Maintenance calories are essentially if you didn't want to change your body type at all. This is you eating to have no change. So for you, if we were to be doing light amount of exercise, you would burn 2,100-ish calories a day in your current state. If you started to amp up your exercise, you'd burn 2,300. If you did heavy or athletic amount of exercise, which is like super, sometimes these guys are doing 2 days or whatever, it's closer to 3,000. So what I want you to get out of this is that your baseline, if we want to put mass on, we need to be above these numbers here. So we should be hitting probably closer to 2,700 calories in your realm, so that we're able to put on size and we're able to build that muscle mass. If we go something crazy like 3,500 calories or something above this, it would probably end up being what people will call the dirty gains. You'll end up looking like me in circa 2020 or 2019 or whenever I was in that photo where you just blow up kind of like a balloon. But what we can also do is we can also look down here and we can call this your bulking phase. and talk about how much protein you should be getting. Now, again, this is vague. The scientific studies that all over that I've read say 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is standard across pretty much every nutrition program. If you're trying to put on lean muscle mass. But again, if you're trying to bulk, this is saying that your now caloric intake is going to be higher. So you're artificially saying that you're going to need more of each macronutrient. So that's why this number is actually higher than what your weight is, if that makes sense. So maintenance is going to be closer to your body weight, which is going to be like 150. This is a lower carb diet, so you don't have to worry about that. But these two would be around 158. So that's just over 1 gram per pound. But in this bulking phase, it's saying you should be close to 200 grams, which again, that's a lot. What I would suggest is just being somewhere above your body weight in grams of protein per day. So, we could ballpark and say start with 150 or start with 170, and then we'll see how your body adapts over the next couple of weeks. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You said it also depends on the genetic, your body, your digestion system probably. So I feel like no matter how much I ate, I just can't gain weight that easy. I'm
Yeah.
not sure
So
if I should start increasing the food a little more than the numbers showing up over here, or just follow this
exactly.
number.
So that's where we can get into either supplementation is one way that you can do it, where you can have like a protein shake, or you can just add food in. So you're just going to have to go over and instead of grabbing, 1 bowl of chicken and rice, it's 2 or whatever your take is on the foods that you're having. So, steak dinner with potatoes versus, having some soup and a piece of bread. So just
Okay.
realizing that we're plugging in things that are going to be more nutrient dense, and then you're going to have to eat more volume to be able to see the change that you want.
How deep do you guys use in the MyFitnessPal? Do you guys like weight all the food that you ate, or just estimate?
If you want, I can answer, or I can have one of those other guys answer too.
No,
Zach, go
doesn't
ahead.
matter.
You joined late. Hit him. What do you usually do?
What was the full question? I'm sorry, he cut out a little bit on my end.
Oh, my question is, when you guys using the MyFitnessPal, how detailed do you guys actually calculate the food? Do you weight all the food on the scale and then put it to exactly the numbers, or you just estimate what you ate and then put it
A little bit of both, at least for me. I do try to consciously, if it's like something newer that I've incorporated in, because in MyFitnessPal, it's got the barcode scanner feature that's come in handy, at least for me, where it's like, okay, if I've got like a single serve wrapped grass fed steak, for instance, which is like a go to for most of my dinners most of the week. Boom. Okay, I already know it's 8 ounces and it's good there. And then some stuff that is not pre-measured out most of the time, like if I've got individual chicken breasts, like I'll weigh those once I've cooked them, that way I know exactly, all right, is it 6 ounces, is it 8 ounces, what have you. The vegetable side of things, the fruit side of things, that's more of those I've usually just estimated, but that's just me.
Okay, thanks, Doug.
Yeah, so there's a ton of ways that you can do it. I would say that in the beginning, either knowing kind of what the volume is, and then on a lot of packages too, especially for like meats, it tells you how much it weighs right on the top, right? Because you're paying per pound. So for those, you don't even have to weigh it. If you cook the whole thing and you eat the whole thing, or you can even approximate that you ate half of it or 3/4 of it, then you're going to at least get in the ballpark. And something I didn't mention before is that nutrition is about getting you in the ballpark most of the time. You don't have to get up to the plate and like the batter's box of nutrition and then this space and hit a home run every single time you're there. All you need to do is get on base. Sometimes you're hit by a pitch. Sometimes you're hitting a single. Sometimes you hit a double or a triple or a home run. But at the end of the day, as long as you're in the game and you're getting close to what that metric is, and for you, we just kind of set it somewhere between, we'll call it 158 to, maybe somewhere between 158 and 195 is what we go with for now for your protein intake. And that's the only thing that we track to try and hit. If we try and start there, then we can crawl, walk, run, and then see kind of how your body reacts over the next couple weeks.
Okay. I never actually tracked my intake before, so it's gonna be a new journey for me, and I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
track my stuff and see
Yeah.
if I can improve.
I think you'll see that you actually don't eat as much as you think that you're eating.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes I notice that I forgot to eat for a long period of time. So maybe this is something that will change my habit or something.
See,
We'll
everybody else in this chat's like, I hate you, dude. Everybody's just like, man, you frustrate the shit out of me that you're complaining about not putting on weight. Go ahead, Bobby. I know you want to say
Dude, I
something
was just
about
gonna
that.
say, dude, I'm over here like when I go to a restaurant, I put the meals in before I fucking order them to make sure
Yeah, dude.
that I don't go
See?
over my damn numbers. I'm pre-logging. I'm not post-logging.
That's funny, man. All right, cool. Does anybody else have any questions? Ming, you have anything else, buddy?
No, thank you.
All right. What about you, Sky? I know you're hanging decorations.
No, I don't think so.
Lovely. Zach, do you have anything, bub?
No, man, that was a good presentation. Nicely done.
Cool, guys.
I think I will add one thing. I was thinking of when you guys were talking about weighing versus estimating versus like some packaging says like 1 cup or 1 tablespoon is a serving. And coming from like, I went to culinary school to be a pastry chef, and they kind of like drove this into us that like we weighed everything because like you said, it's ballpark, but volume changes. Like if you have a cup of like flour, some people could pack that flour a little more than somebody not packing it. So volume, like volume measuring can change. Like it's better to weigh everything, I think, but obviously if you're just looking for ballpark, it's fine if you just like estimate stuff, but volume, I would like, if you can, I would weigh stuff if I were you.
Take it from the chef, yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I do have one more thing that I want to chat about real quick on the call before I let everybody go. So, I know I talked about it before, and let me stop this share really fast. I know I wanted to chat about it here too, and I actually wrote it down just so I didn't forget. But we've got a couple really cool things that I wanted to chat with you guys about. One of them is that we're starting a referral program. I know I put it in the chat before, but basically if you guys refer somebody to the program based on, your experience, or you hear somebody talking about it and they're interested, and you like what the coaching that you're getting, and they end up signing up, I'm going to send you $50 to Amazon for you to go nuts, and go hard. So that will be, you helping me, and then me hopefully helping you, especially now, maybe even around the holidays helps you out. The other thing I want to say is that Chelsea and I, my wife Chelsea and I, are going to be doing this. We have a really unique opportunity as a community to hire a professional chef on, kind of like on staff. So what this would look like is we're kind of vetting her on Sunday, but essentially what it's going to be is she's going to send out a survey to like people in the program if we end up picking her up and working with her, where she'll send a survey out and it'll say, hey, what's your experience in the kitchen? What do you want to learn? Do you have like any like fears of using knives, kind of whatever. She's basically going to send out a couple question survey to you. And then a couple days before the class begins, she'll send you a list of ingredients to go out and buy. And then as well as a dish. And then the day of, she'll do a live call with people who are on it, where you'll cook with her and you're able to ask her questions as a professional chef. You'll be able to interact with her, kind of understand the best ways to prepare the food, ways that you can make it taste better, sauces, other techniques, cooking techniques. And it's just something that's really unique, I think, that I've never heard of any other really. I haven't even heard of this as a business model for her before. So I'm really excited to try it out. Chelsea and I are trying it out on Sunday. But I just wanted to let you guys know that may be something that's coming down the pipe for the program as well. Do any of you guys have questions about that right now before I let you go?
Not really like a question, but like if there's any going forward, it'd be super cool if she could, like, personally, I'm thinking like on Sundays or something, like something that would be like meal prep stuff for the week as well would be huge for me. So if that's something that she could have an expertise on or focus of, like, one meal would be awesome for me, but like especially with a kid on the way, like I'm not going to be focusing on like individual meals. I'm going to be doing like kind of what you said, like you guys do, is like meals for 2, 3 nights in a row. So if she
Yeah,
has any
man.
tips to gear
That's
it, that'd be super helpful for me.
for sure. Yeah, that's kind of the goal. So to kind of have that as part of the program. And then she'll also record the call so that in the event that you couldn't be there, we'd be able to watch it later and you could make the dish after the fact. But again, seems like a really unique opportunity for us, and I figured I'd pass that along to you guys too.
Great.
Cool. Does anybody else have a question?
I have one last question. Forgot to mention earlier. So for do you guys take any like supplement like vitamin stuff like that daily?
Do you guys want to answer that or you want me to?
Well, dude, I was actually gonna. I put it on my weekly form too, so I was gonna say like if you could something I'd like, because I mean I do that, like I can send out my stuff too, but like I have bone broth, I have a meal replacement that I can use at the end of the day, like just mass gainer. I do like stuff during the day and like just overnight oats and kachava and all that stuff. But I'd want to see like what you're doing from AG1 and other like, hey, what are your protein builders? So it was actually my weekly form, but it'd be super cool if, I don't know, you could blast out to the group like, hey, what's a day in the life of Blaze look like? Because I saw your like morning routine this week, so that'd be helpful for me.
Yeah, for sure. I'm down to talk about all those things, but broad strokes, I take a green supplement, athletic greens. I do a collagen supplement as well. And this is from a company called JLab Pro, who a fitness professional that I like truly believe in things that they do. He takes their stuff as well. And then I'll do amino acids before I work out. It's like an amino energy supplement. It's really, really low in caffeine, but it's kind of like a pick me up that's not like, a Monster Energy drink or whatever these things are that people are taking that are kind of like fake type of energy. I think it's really helpful. And the body really needs amino acids to perform well. And then after a workout, I'll have a little bit of creatine as well as my protein powder. And then I've got a fish oil that I'll take, B12 multivitamin that's got like vitamin C, and that's pretty much it. So I can lay it all out for you guys and kind of send that information out pretty soon. But it's really standard. And I would say that I'm actually with the green supplement, I would say I'm really just trying to burn down the B12 and a couple of those other things because athletic greens kind of takes a lot of that and hits it. If anybody of you have taken a B12 pill before, my pee looks like Shrek's piss. It's like lime green, like neon, like it's absolutely unreal. So I don't know how much of that I actually need because I'm taking the athletic greens on top of it. So I basically am trying to shrink down the amount of supplementation I'm doing and really dial in kind of what my body needs based on where I'm kind of at. So again, I'll send that information out in another thing and show you guys like brands or things that you can do. But if you have any more specific questions, definitely shoot me a text.
Thanks. Yeah, it seems like a lot of supplement, and I just don't know what I should really take among them.
Perfect.
To
I love it, man. I will I think I actually did one. I want to say I did a webinar on supplements too. So what I can also look and see if I have that one on there, I can try and send you that where I kind of talk about supplementation too a little bit if you're interested in that.
Sure. Thanks.
For sure, man. Does anybody else have anything else? Cool. Nothing heard. Silence on the line. All right, you guys. I appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you for showing up. I'm gonna blast this out on a recording, so we'll make sure that we have it on the pages. And my dog is going nuts asking me to feed her, so I got to get out of here. Good seeing you all. and we'll see you guys next week sometime. Somebody send in a topic. If you haven't done one yet, Ming, you're kind of off the block, but somebody else here or when you're listening to this, send me a topic or I'll call somebody out for one. See you guys.
Cool.
Thanks a bunch.
See you. Thanks.